everybody, Jody Barnett with Bodyworks Diabetes and Lifestyle Management. Today we will be making homemade yogurt in the Instant Pot pressure cooker. And you will find that it is really good. It's thick and creamy. You will never buy store-bought yogurt again. Another reason that I like to make homemade yogurt is I know exactly what's in it. Whereas if I go to the store and I get store-bought yogurt, I look at the ingredient list and there's preservatives, there's added sugar, there's artificial sweeteners, there's things in there that I just really don't want. Now, in this yogurt, it only takes 3 ingredients. You need some milk, and really any brand will do, because we're going to heat that up and we're going to kill any bad bacteria. But if you want more of a creamier, thicker sort of yogurt, use whole milk. If you're trying to watch your calories and your fat, 1% or 2% will work great as well. It might be a little thinner, but at the end of the process, when we're making our yogurt, we're going to use a straining bag to make it thicker. So that's not really an issue when it comes to thickness. The second ingredient that we'll need is pure vanilla extract, which I buy this little bottle at Aldi's, and it's probably less than $4. I like my yogurt to have a nice vanilla taste to it. So I end up using the whole bottle, which is about 6 tablespoons. Then you need a yogurt starter, which I've been making yogurt for years, so what I do is I'll make my yogurt and then I will keep 2 to 3 tablespoons and add to the next batch of yogurt that I'm making. But if you're just starting out, go buy some plain Greek yogurt with nothing added to it. No fruit, no sugar, no artificial sweeteners, nothing. You just want plain Greek yogurt. Another thing to consider when you are making your yogurt is that you need some sort of straining bag. You can use cheesecloth, which I used many years ago when I first started making it. Then I came across, this is called a rice milk bag. This works great. So you can get them on Amazon, and I got a couple for like $10. I think they work really well. Another consideration is when you buy your Instant Pot, they come with this clear sealant. Now they get to, after a few years, they get to smelling and get a little rank. So a suggestion is to buy some different colored sort of sealants. So the blue I always use for yogurt. If I'm making chicken or beef, I'll pull that out and maybe use my clear one again. The red one I might use for vegetables, other sort of foods. But that way I'm using them and cleaning them in between. Another thing to consider is when you buy your Instant Pot, it came with this stainless steel pot. You can get this, you can buy these, and it's slightly coated. You don't have to worry about it chipping off. And they work kind of nice because it's more smoother and easy cleanup. I like to use it with my yogurt. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to pour our milk into the pot. And I use a whole gallon. And you'll find at the end when we're straining it, you don't come out with as much yogurt as you would think using a whole gallon of milk. So then when you bought your Instant Pot pressure cooker, some of you may have looked at the different buttons that you could have, and one reason I chose this type of Instant Pot pressure cooker was because I wanted to make yogurt. Not all of the Instant Pots have the yogurt button. So you want to look for the yogurt button here and you push yogurt. And as you can see here, it says boil. And that's what we want it to do because we're going to heat this milk up until it gets up to 180 degrees. So we're going to go ahead and put the lid on. It's not necessary, but go ahead and put the lid on. And another tool that you will need, and it's critical that you get this, is what we call a thermometer, a cooking thermometer, because we want to get this heated up to 180 degrees, because that will kill the bad bacteria. And then a little bit later, we use a cooling process where we need to get the temperature down to 110. If you don't follow the directions exactly, your yogurt will not set up. So we're going to kind of skip on to that it's boiled, and sometimes it takes 2 to 3 boil cycles to get it heated up to 180. If you're impatient like me, I will sometimes try the boil the first time, and then I might just cancel it and then hit the saute button, which really heats up the milk pretty quickly. Now you got to keep an eye on it. So I'm going to open this up and I'm going to keep an eye on it because you could burn the milk. So let's pretend that it's gotten up to like 170 and it's getting close to 180 and you're checking it. One thing that you need to remember to do is to stir the milk, because there can be hot spots and you might check it and it might say 180, but it's not 180 clear throughout, the mixture. So we checked it and it's at 182. That's perfect. So now what we want to do, and you might have some pot holders handy because this gets hot, is to pull this out. And while this has been boiling, I have been filling my sink with ice and water, cold water. And then I'm going to just set this pot into the cold ice water, and it will help cool it down pretty quickly. Now you could also just set it on the counter on a trivet and let it cool that way, but it's going to take a lot longer. So let's say that again, you're checking the temperature and we want to get it to 110. So we've gotten it down, and again, you want to stir because it can be, hot spots here, and so you want to make sure that it's 110 throughout. So we check it and it's 109. Perfect. So, and the reason we wanted to get it less than 110 is because we are going to add back in the yogurt starter, and if it's higher than 110, it will kill the good bacteria that's in that yogurt starter. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back into the Instant Pot pressure cooker. You might want to wipe it off if you put it in, wet water, just to make sure that it's dry when you put it back in. So this next step, what we're going to do is we're going to take our yogurt starter, and we're going to take a couple of tablespoons, 2 to 3, put it in a small bowl, and then I'm going to just dip out some of this milk, put it in this little bowl, and then I'm just going to whisk that until it's mixed well and you don't have any lumps or anything. And then I'm going to pour that back into the yogurt, the milk and the yogurt, all right? So this is a time now that we're going to add in our vanilla flavoring. And like I said, I've measured this out. It's 6 tablespoons for a whole container. And so I'm going to just pour that all in. Now, I've not talked much about sweeteners because my patients that I see are mostly diabetic, and then I see patients that are trying to lose weight. So when you're using a sweetener, you might consider, if you want it just a little bit more sweeter, we don't use any sweeteners. We like it just the way it is. But you could use some Truvia or stevia. Maybe start with maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons, put it in and stir it in, maybe taste it to see if how sweet it is. I would do as little as possible. And you really don't need that much, especially a lot of the recipes that I could share with you is that when you add fruit and other things to it, it's sweet enough. All right, so now at this stage, what we're gonna do is we're going to push the yogurt button again. And so we need to cancel this out because it was on saute. So we push the yogurt button and it says boil again. So you want to keep pushing that and adjust it. And as you can see here, 24 hours come up. But on this little scale here, it says less, medium, and more. We want to go to the normal or the medium. So, and it says 9. And that means 9 hours, which I tend to go 9 hours. The longer you go, the more kind of tangier it tastes. And I found over the years that I like 9 about the best. So, and it's going to count down, as you can see here, or count up. So again, we're going to put our lid back on. This is going to be kind of hard putting it on backwards. There. So, 9 hours from now, your yogurt will be ready, okay? So what I like to do is start my yogurt about 8 or 9 o'clock at night, so it's kind of cooking all night long. And then when I wake up the next morning is when I'm going to strain the yogurt and use it. So let's pretend that it's been 8 to 9 hours, and you wake up, and on the front here, it's going to say yogurt when it's done, okay? If it still has numbers, it's still not quite done. So we see yogurt here, we know it's done, all right? So take the lid off, and this is the time where we're going to strain the yogurt. So here's the yogurt and what it looks like. And as you can see, it is thick, okay? But if you want to, and you could eat it like this, it would be more like the yogurt, not the Greek yogurt that you would buy in the store. Okay, so, but if you want Greek yogurt, a more thicker yogurt, because Greek yogurt has more protein than regular yogurt. So how we do this is, and this is how I do it here in my home, is I use this knob, and I'm going to hang this on here once I get my yogurt in the bag. So what I do is I have my bag here, and I just scoop the yogurt into this bag. See how thick that is? And it makes quite a bit. So just so you kind of see the whole thing, as you can see here, when we hang this up, this is called whey, and whey will be eliminated by straining it in this bag, okay? So sometimes it will take several hours for this to drain, all right? Typically for me, I think it maybe is 30 minutes or so, 30 minutes to an hour is the way we kind of like it. So what can you do with the whey, that liquid part? Because you'll get several cups of this whey, this liquid part. Sometimes I will put them in shakes. I might use them in soups. I might use them in some vegetable dishes. I've heard some people pour it in their bath water and use it as a moisturizer. So, you know, that's some of the things that you can do with the whey. I sometimes freeze them in a little ice cube tray, and then put them in a bigger bag and use them that way. How do I use my yogurt? I have an ebook that is called Making Yogurt in the Instant Pot Pressure Cooker. And with that, I have a lot of recipes that I will share with you. One of our favorite is the overnight oatmeal in a jar. We use that in that. You can use yogurt in, I use it as a protein for my shakes. We use it in a lot of Greek dishes. I have several maybe main dishes that calls for cream or it calls for sour cream, and I will use my yogurt instead. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me, and have a